Hours out of surgery. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm awesome. We're going to talk about this a little bit. If
Yep.
you want to know what's going on with healthcare, alternative healthcare, traditional healthcare, you got strong opinions about that, you're going to want to stick around for this one. We're going to blow a few people's minds here. It's going to be entertaining and educational. But let's start with what's a guru and what's a sage? Why are we doing this in the first place? What do you think, Gail?
Well, so a guru is someone that you do want to work with when you're first facing the journey of being more, when you're first curious. And they'll take you to a certain point, so they absolutely have value. But when their tools are no longer working and you're still feeling something missing, that's when the sages come in.
And the sage is not about the sage's experience. This is the critical thing to understand is what's going on with the guru is they had an experience that was uplifting and elevated their state of being in the world. And they're excited about it and they want to go teach everybody and help everybody else out. And that's great if you're like them and have the same kind of problem to be solving. Now, if it's an issue that's a problem that requires a solution to help you do something better, like make more money or whatever the thing is, have a better business, then that's okay. It's never really a problem. But if it
Right.
has to do with your inner experience of life, you need what's called a sage pathway, a sage system. They're all the same. Some are better than others for different individuals, but they're all the
Mhm.
same and they all work.
They all work. And
All
they're all focused on you. I mean, one of the things that I know, Larry, you do the same thing is when I'm working with someone or a group of people, I leave me at the door. Is it's not about me at all.
And that's important to understand. So people would say, well, of course, everybody does that who's enlightened in their own being. No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that our experience has nothing to do with the delivery of the wisdom information that is coming through us, not of or from us. That's the key difference because everything needs to be automatically without the person who's transmitting it delivered in a way that is perfect for the person who's receiving it.
Exactly. Right. And so there are two questions that I sometimes will be asked. And if I'm asked these questions, I'm not the coach for you. Right. Question number one. How are you different from so and so? Well, if you're doing the comparison, then I'm not for you because obviously I'm showing up and you're asking questions that have nothing to do with what I do. Number one. Number two, what is the program? This is where Larry and I differ. What's the program that you use? I don't. I,
Yes.
right? I don't use a
Yes.
program. I
Your program is your
respond,
heart. Your
right?
program is your heart. My program is a truth system for financially successful entrepreneurs that's designed for them so they can focus on their vision and mission, but also elevate their inner being state so they can do something that actually matters
To the world,
to the
right?
world.
To the world, exactly. And so, so yeah, so we do the same thing but different,
That's right. So
right?
let's talk about your life right now. You've got some big stuff going on, and I understand from our conversation last week after the event, you were given a gift. Oh, I think you froze up there, Gail, right at the critical moment. So everybody, don't go away. I know you're impatient. She'll be back on her phone. There you go. Oh, you're back. You're back. Nope,
See
no
me
audio.
back.
There you go.
Am I
Okay.
back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because you're frozen. It's just let me know if I freeze up again, okay?
Yeah. I'll go like
Okay.
this.
I can't see if you.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
You're
Okay,
a doll,
so you were given something that you see as an opportunity or a gift
right?
that maybe someone else wouldn't. What's that all about?
I'll first tell you where I'm at, and then I'll tell you how I got here, and then I'll tell you where I'm going. How's that? So
Perfect.
where I'm at is I'm not even 24 hours out of surgery, which was for stage 2 breast cancer. And I'm excited about it. See it as I am growing at an opportunity and very, very different than most people. I haven't yet, nor do I intend to feel like a victim. And so I'm working with people or talking with people that I know that will not place that victim mentality on me because I don't want to. That's their story, not mine, right? And so every once in a while, Larry go, okay, so that I know we're still on.
Okay.
Okay, beautiful. um, so that's where I'm at right now, and it's a gift, and we'll explain why in a moment. About 6 months ago, I was working with a spiritualist who told me that I need to work on a communication with my daughter. I need to heal whatever's going on there, and he didn't use the word heal. Um, so I can elevate to the next level that I'm going to, which is a healing level, by the way. So I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. And then I had stopped coloring my hair, you've noticed. And by the way, the treatments I'm going through, I can't color my hair. So that's interesting. Then 5 months ago, I went to a shaman, went on a journey. And those of you who believe, JC and Mary showed up with a blue blanket of healing to put over me. And I'm like, what's that all about? Well,
Who's
thank you.
JC?
Jesus Christ Superstar.
That's what I thought. I wanted to make sure that. No, okay. This is not a Christian program. We don't believe in anything, basically.
No, this was just that spirit is what
So
came.
just, but
That
that is the
spirit.
spiritual energy that was helping Gail.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you know that I respond to messages and I don't ask why. So I got a
exactly.
message to go and buy the headscarves that women who've gone through chemo wear. I- I'm like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. You want me to do this? I'll do this. So I did. Um, and then I went on a um, plant-based diet. You want me to do this? Okay, sure, I'll do that. Right, and I'm a meat eater. And then I haven't seen a doctor in 6 years because I seek alternative medicine.
Mm.
I got the nudge, call your PCP.
We're going to be talking a lot about this. So anybody here listening who's into alternative medicine and has an issue with Western medicine, you need to stick around. Anybody who has an issue with alternative medicine because you think it's kooky, you need to stick around too.
Yes, yes. So I did. I went to see my PCP, and she's like, said no, no, no to all the health questions. I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And so she says, so yeah, do you want a mammogram? And it's kind of like, do you even want one, right? And I went, I think I do, sure, right? So I went, and sure enough, something showed up, and so now I'm kicked into that system, right?
In the medical
In the
system,
medical, right?
Western medical system, for someone
Right.
who's been healing yourself and in all these other modalities for what, 10 years, 8 years?
Well, it's been 6 years, definitely this modality only. Um, so I did this journey of like what happened. I went out with a friend of mine who's actually going to do this process called body talk with me. We'll talk about body talk. And do say something so that I know that you're still on because you froze on my screen.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. And so I went out with her and told her what was going on. And so she said it's not the childhood wound, which I thought the daughter thing was about. She says energy is locked in your body and it's not getting out.
So can
That
I
made
interrupt you for a second because I want to help the people understand this. So here's the guru problem. Somebody shows up and they're the childhood wound person because they
yes,
fixed everything because they had a childhood wound. I listened to Mind Valley, Nishan being interviewed. I think it was Lewis Howes, or no, it was not Lewis Howes. It was well, anyways, Jay Shetty, and it's all meditation. And I was like, that's completely wrong. Now, I'm not
no,
saying what Vishen and Mind Valley are doing is wrong. What I'm saying is his experience to get where he got was through meditation. That doesn't mean that's the right thing at that
right?
moment. And the same with what you're talking about here.
Right. When I heard the motherhood wound, it just didn't resonate with me. But when I heard energy is locked, I went, oh, that I totally understand. So I created, and here we go, a meditation, a prayer, a process where I went in and looked at a tangled web of energy.
Hmm.
And as I unleashed each strand, I saw the person that created, so you create an energetic statement in your body, who I created that statement with. And I said, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. Oh, and I forgive me because it's a codependent
So
situation.
are you telling us that you created your cancer?
Yes,
Yes, that's what we're saying.
right. Yes.
Okay.
right? And so I did that, and I actually felt the release, right? And so that was very cool. So then again, I met with my body talk friend, and I said, so when I have, excuse me, my protocol, we squeeze in what you do to help me navigate the Western medicine
Okay.
shit they're going to do to me.
Now here's the lesson. So, what do a lot of people do right now? So, first, they got this problem and they're over here with the childhood wound stuff and they feel bad. And they're like, "Well, I'm not doing it right." No, you're doing the wrong thing, period. You haven't found
Period.
the right thing yet because you don't know how to listen to yourself, right?
Right.
Second thing is now you found the body work stuff. So you're in there, you're doing this whole thing, and then somebody says, "Well, you need to go to the oncologist," and you're like, "Oh, that's all bullshit." That's problem number 2, because you have a belief system that Western medicine's bad.
Right.
That's insane. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Exactly. Exactly. It's God created Western medicine too, right?
I think that's how it happened. That was kind of a hard thing to figure out. You think somebody just sort of figured that out on
Right?
their own?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
So
think so.
so here's what happened 2 days before my procedure of the surgery. So I've only had the surgery, and that was yesterday. And so I got my body talk session, and it was a recording. And she did this tapping that goes with it, and other
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
work,
yeah, I've heard about the tapping.
right?
That's
And so
cool.
she did that on my behalf.
Ah,
And she said, I am doing your session and tapping at the same time. This is the most powerful way to receive this. Your body is telling me that it wants me to first work on permissions, not on why I'm going to her. My body is telling her, you have to work on permissions first because I have to give her permission.
ah,
Right, right.
yes.
And I'm not giving people permission to acknowledge and work on me
So you're
because
blocking this happening without even knowing you're blocking
I'm
it.
an independent person.
And so she gave you a mirror so
Right.
you could see what you needed to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And so we went through giving permissions so that she could do work on me.
Mhm.
And then the next thing that she worked on was really just kind of like it was her normal session, just kind of waking up my body. The next thing she worked on was my lymph nodes. That's where I'm having problems. She says, "Yeah, Gail, I see there's going to be a lot of work we need to do. We're doing that work right now."
So one thing you could do is spend the rest of your life sending energy to your lymph nodes and eventually cure your cancer and do nothing else for your entire life,
Right.
right? So that's
Right.
why I'm telling people right now, don't only heal yourself,
Right.
but
Right.
you are responsible for the illness.
Right.
So you're responsible, not the doctors that are healing you in the hospital
Right.
or your healer. Don't give
Right.
them that power. You caused it. You're
Right.
the one who's responsible for unraveling it, but you need to use technologies
Right.
as
And
in
don't feel guilty or negative. It just friggin' is.
we're
It
human.
just is. It just is. Right. And that's why I'm like, well, this is exciting. And I look at this as, well, thank you for this journey. Right. So, and I will walk down it. So, what I was telling Larry beforehand, so yesterday I'm all prepped and they're wheeling me down to the operating room. And I decided that I was going to let the child in me play. So I started singing, We're Off to See the Wizard. And on the way down, not only were the attendees that were pushing me started singing, everyone as we passed started singing that. And then we started talking about witches and my favorite witch and who's your favorite witch and whatever. And then they took off my red booties, right? and
Oh,
it,
yeah, the symbolism.
right, right. We were just having
Uh,
a blast, through the whole thing because I know that energy is the energy I needed.
so what would
And
happen if every
mhm,
hospital in the country had people singing on the
on the way
way
to
to
the
the
oh
operating
wow.
room or the procedure? Would we transform the entire trillion-dollar whatever healthcare system in the United States or the world? Would
Yeah,
that happen just doing that?
I think so. And I'll tell you, my procedure went no problems. Everything came out, no surprises. So there's nothing new that grew or whatever. So, so we're waiting for the pathology test. And I am having a problem right now with the lymph nodes. But before I see the doctor this afternoon, my mind is already working because one of the other things my friend did for me was put a time release healing process in my brain.
Oh, let's talk about that. So time
Right?
release isn't just for capsules from pharmaceutical
No,
companies?
no, 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 no.
Oh,
And
this
so
is
the
new to me.
time
How does that
release
work?
was two, we're two at the beginning and then one. The two at the beginning was telling my brain the second it feels so it kicked in the second I felt an incision. So tell your brain the second that it's safe, that it's okay, relax, calm down, right? Don't go into panic mode. You're okay, you're in good hands, right? So it was keeping my body from going into a frantic state,
Mm,
right? Because even if you're unconscious, your subconscious is going to go, holy crap, right? So it's taking care of that.
right.
And the second thing, and this is behind the eyeballs, right? So I'm watching behind my eyeballs as she's doing this, is every 30 minutes, my brain will kick in healing and
Hmm.
kick in healing and kick in
Oh,
healing.
so now you can feel the time release moment over
Yeah.
time now.
Yeah. I talked to the doctor's office this morning and they're like, so what pain medication are you taking? I'm like, I took an ibuprofen last night, but nothing. Well,
Oh,
what
we're gonna
pain?
kill the pharmaceutical companies if we do this. That's
Well, oh,
no,
sorry.
I'm kidding.
Right. The only pain I'm in, and it's just uncomfortable more than anything, is the armpit, right?
Hmm.
And I'm going in for them to make sure that nothing else is going on there other than I'm uncomfortable, right? So no, I feel fine, a little woozy. I still have drugs in my system. I know that, so I have to let flush the
Mhm.
drugs out of my system. Um, but here's another interesting thing. I had genetic testing done, and the only reason I did was for my children, for them to make their decision what to do with this information. And here's what I don't like about Western medicine. If I went by the direction of that DNA test, both breasts would be gone, and I would be having my uterus or right hysterectomy done.
See, this goes back to the responsibility thing is that when we think about ourselves and we connect into our own inner self, we can take responsibility for everything in our lives. It sounds really woo woo to people who aren't used to this. Um, and doing that allows us to recognize when some malpractice kind of treatment or misunderstand. It's not malpractice, it's misunderstanding because they don't understand the full system of how the body works and healing because they're trapped in their own belief system of science and what they were taught in medical school, which is all good and right, but it's not everything. So you're protecting yourself in a way against that. So you're making the decisions of what to take and what to not take. Oh, you just froze up. There you go. You're back. Nope, no audio. Oh, maybe the
Ha.
oh, there we go. You're back. Nope. So Gail, maybe get on the phone. So what I'll fill in here that may be helpful to people is how are you navigating this? So as you're listening to this, are you getting into debates and judgments in your mind of which is right, which is wrong, which is right, which is wrong? The opportunity is to transcend that. There is no right or wrong. There is a, let's say, a yes, no circular mechanism inside yourself. So the circular mechanism is working for you. It's saying yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Allow that to work and pay attention to it. So when you're making a decision related to your healthcare, you're navigating these complex systems that maybe don't even know what they're doing half of the time, which is true. A lot of the Eastern medicine people don't know what they're doing, and a lot of the Western medicine people don't know what they're doing, even though what they have is very valuable. So ask yourself, yes, no, as you're going through it, and follow that guidance from inside yourself about what you're going to do. Let's try again. Oh, she'll be back in a minute. Now, one of the ways to identify yes, no is leaning back and leaning forward. And I learned this from a friend of mine, Brian Muka. And what you can do simply is when you want to know, do I go to this doctor or do I go to a different doctor? You say, should I go to Dr. So and so? If you lean forward, yes. If it leans back, the answer is no. And this always works. The reason it may not work is because you're not connected deeply enough into yourself. If you're not connected deeply enough into yourself, then what you need to do is do things that will connect you more deeply into yourself. I do have a video on the YouTube channel. So it's called the 5 a.m. Club or something for top 1% entrepreneurs. And it's not just for that, that's just a title for it. But basically, it's a daily practice that allows you to connect more deeply into your inner self. And it doesn't have to be done at 5 a.m. It can be done anytime. It's just what's critical is doing it every day for 30 minutes. And it's a 5-step process. And what you'll find very quickly is that as you're moving through the day, and it just takes no time to do this, 30 minutes. No meditation, no phones, no distractions, no meditation with this. Meditation is a tool and a technology that serves specific purposes. This is a meditative practice, of course, but it's not meditation. It just means being by yourself and paying attention to what's going on inside you. As you go through those steps, things are going to start happening. And all you can do is just work through the steps and start to pay more attention to what's coming towards you as you're doing these things. Meaning, think of it like Chat GPT. So you put a prompt in Chat GPT and you get a response. And then you look at the response and you say, well, I don't understand what this means, or this doesn't make any sense, or I don't like the way this was written. What do you do then? Ask another question. This is the same thing. So you'll notice as you go through the practice, you just keep asking yourself questions and listening to the answers. This is what Gail's doing. She is so tied in to her inside emptiness. It's called emptiness in Eastern traditions. She's back right here. There we go. You're back.
It's the web browser I'm using. I'll deal with the techie stuff
I
later.
filled the void by explaining to people a simple 5-part practice. I have a video up on YouTube. It's 30 minutes. You and I have talked about this to help them connect into the part of themselves that you're using to determine yes, no, in terms of what to do. And I gave them a method of standing up I got from Brian Muka.
Yes,
Oh, you
yes,
know that too. I didn't know that until yesterday.
yes, yes.
Tell them how you use it because
Well,
I'm like, oh my God, this blew my
well,
mind.
that
Everyone needs to do
standing up
this.
is a yoga position.
But the leaning forward, yes, the leaning back,
Oh, the yes and
no.
no. You can lean forward, yes and no. So you need to ask your body, show me yes, because it can change. Show me no, and then you can ask it anything. You can do
Yes,
the two circles in the ring and the pressure. Show me yes, and it doesn't come apart. Show me no, and it comes apart as you pull.
there you go.
You can use a scribe and show me yes, it'll circle one way. Show me no, it'll circle the other way.
This is great. So, what people can do then is before you go into the medical establishment or you're thinking about what you're going to do, the question is, should I go to the doctor? Go. Should I
Yes,
go to the doctor? Don't go. Should I
and
work
you'll
with
be
a
right.
psychologist? Yes. Should I work with a psychologist? No.
Right. And so here's another odd thing. In December, I met a gentleman and we are dear friends. We've been on stage together, who is a two-time stage 4 cancer survivor,
Oh, interesting.
and he speaks for the Cancer Society.
Oh my goodness.
And so, of course I called him. He goes, "If you don't like anyone you're working with, I'll hook you up."
Well, there may
Right?
be some speaking opportunities too, because I see you being able to help a lot of people at this phase of the medical journey being able to navigate it. I kind of see another book in your future because I know you have a book, right? So you have a book coming out soon.
Right.
Talk about the book a little bit, and we'll put that in the show notes so people can check it out. Are you taking pre-orders?
Not yet. No,
Okay,
no.
we'll
So
put that
Journey
link in there when it's ready.
Yep, Journey to Enlightenment is coming out September 5th. There will be a launch party on Facebook, and it really is taking the Tree of Life, Kabbalah, and patterns on the trestle board. Look it up, folks, and combining them and explaining them in a way that is consumable and actionable. in today? What does it mean to me? You don't need to know all the mystical stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You need to know, well, so what do I do with this information? That's like when I went for the genetic testing. What do I do with this information? My sister called me. My sister's in her 80s. She said, should I be tested? I said, what are you going to do with that information? Why?
Right.
Right? If you're not going to do anything with it, except not be eligible for life insurance anymore, by the way,
Mm.
yes, then why even bother?
Yes, that's again going back to, so I like to call it just discernment as opposed to judgment. So when you're trying to figure out what to do and what not to do, and you are able to connect into that deeper part of yourself that knows everything, you will never be confused. You will always be in clarity. And then when you go into disclarity, and Latham wrote a book called Clarity, so she likes disclarity. I love it. So clarity, disclarity. When you go into disclarity, that means you are giving an opportunity to learn something important that you don't quite get yet.
Hmm.
So that's a state of being opportunity. So allow the disclarity and say, well, hey, I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know what to do with this healthcare
Right.
problem, or what. It doesn't matter what the problem is. This is just an application. And then allow that disclarity to come, whatever feeling comes up, and that'll move you to clarity as you move through it.
Exactly. And don't try to justify. So when I was given, here are your options, and I heard screaming, no. And I'm like, well, no. And the nurse I was working with, well, why? And I'm thinking, none of your effing business, because the universe said no. I don't have to
I
explain
don't
to
have to
you
explain
why.
what's going on inside my being
No,
to
this is
anybody.
like, right. And so I saw her as a person who is full of fear, and her job is to place fear on people. Yes. And so that's the danger of the medical community. That's why you really have to listen to yourself and don't explain no. If I say no, I'm the patient, you work for me, I pay you. I said no. Next step, please.
I want to share something that may be helpful to people to understand why this is happening, because sometimes we're like, "Oh, that person's really bad." No, no, this is what's going on. So this is
Yes.
right in front. I'm laminating it. I haven't yet.
Oh, I love you.
This is David Hawkins' map of consciousness. This will explain everything to you about why these things are happening. So, what we have right here is, so she was fear based.
Yep.
Okay, that is called survival paradigm. She's living in the survival paradigm. Look it up,
Right.
David Hawkins. You know what I mean? Explain the whole thing. Her energetic log is 100. That's their vibrational frequency at which she's operating. What is the predominant emotional state of someone like that? Anxiety. What's the view of life? It's frightening. What's the view of God? Punitive. What is the process? Withdrawal. So you have somebody who has some decent medical training bringing that to Gail.
Right.
So run for you,
Right.
or at least be aware of it and maybe take advantage of the technology expertise, depending on what works for you.
Right. And so I mean, so my children were I brought them into the meeting. I zoomed them in so they could ask their questions, right, and make their decision. My son is not going for the test. He said, "Mom, I'm too young. I'll never get life insurance again." No, I know that I need to have accelerated tests and this and this. That's all I need to know,
Right. So we
right?
have 2 minutes. Is there, why don't you do a 1 minute wrap up, whatever you want to talk about, and then I'll do a 1 minute as well.
Okay, 1 minute wrap up. You are responsible for everything in your life. Take responsibility, not guilt, and listen to the gods. They want to help you.
Be aware of where you are on the consciousness map. There's really three groupings, I would say, really, in a way, four. There's the survival paradigm, there's reason and integrity, and there's a spiritual paradigm. And recognize that jumping from one level to another will feel like you are dying. And it is the best possible thing you could allow to happen for yourself. A lot of people are telling me, oh, I'm too busy for that, to do that. It's not about time. It's about allowing what's going on inside. You will never be busy again as you move up these consciousness levels, and
Right.
you will do 5,000 more things in the world than you thought you could ever do.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Larry. And you'll be hearing more about my journey.
Thanks everybody for joining. We do this every Friday at the same time. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you can come to Intellectual and the Outlaw. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about, but also with business. I do it with Sajad Hussein. The registration link's right below there. Feel free to come and be part of the conversation.